The collision rule. The Rules Committee is concerned about unnecessary and violent collisions with the catcher at home plate and with infielders at all bases. The intent of this rule is to encourage base runners and defensive players to avoid such collisions whenever possible. Oftentimes, there are plays at the plate involving contact between a catcher and a base runner. These plays happen so fast that an umpire has to unpack multiple developing variables in a matter of seconds. Without preparation prior to these plays, umpires can find themselves asking what happened, as opposed to taking charge of the play and making the correct decisions. In this week's training video, we are going to dissect the collision rule on a play at the plate. A. When there is a collision between a runner and a fielder who is in clear possession of the ball, the umpire shall judge. If the defensive player blocks the base or plate or baseline with clear possession of the ball, the runner may slide in to make contact with the fielder as long as the runner is making a legitimate attempt to reach the base or plate. Number 1. The runner must make an actual attempt to reach the base or plate. The penalty? If the contact is flagrant or malicious before the runner touches the base or plate, the runner shall be declared out and also ejected from the contest. The ball is immediately dead, and all other base runners shall return to the last base touched at the time of the collision. Number 2. The runner may not attempt to dislodge the ball from the fielder. Contact above the waist shall be judged by the umpire as an attempt by the runner to dislodge the ball. The penalty? If the runner attempts to dislodge the ball or initiates an avoidable collision, the runner shall be declared out even if the fielder loses possession of the ball. The ball is dead, and all other base runners shall return to the base last touched at the time of the collision. Number 3. The runner must attempt to avoid a collision if he can reach the base without colliding. The penalty? If the contact is flagrant or malicious after the runner touches the base or plate, the runner is safe but is ejected from the contest. The ball is immediately dead, and all other base runners shall return to the last base touched at the time of the collision. If this occurs at any base other than home, the offending team may replace the runner. If the contact occurs after a preceding runner touches the plate, the preceding runner is safe. The ball is immediately dead, and all other base runners shall return to the last base touched at the time of the contact. Number 4. If the runner's path to the base is blocked, and 1, 2, and 3 are fulfilled, it is considered unavoidable contact. It's important to note that when this play begins, the catcher is not in possession of the baseball. Before a fielder is in possession of the baseball, anything that could be deemed obstruction protects the base runner. A catcher shall not be deemed to have hindered or impeded the progress of the runner if, in the judgment of the umpire, the runner would have been called out, notwithstanding the catcher having blocked the plate. In addition, a catcher should use his best efforts to avoid unnecessary and forcible contact while tagging a runner attempting to slide. Catchers who routinely make unnecessary and forcible contact with the runner attempting to slide, example by initiating contact using a knee, shin guard, elbow, or forearm, may be subject to being ejected. As soon as a fielder has possession of the ball, the base runner loses all rights of protection from anything except malicious contact by the fielder. C. Unless the catcher is in possession of the ball, the catcher cannot block the pathway of the runner as he is attempting to score. If in the judgment of the umpire, the catcher without possession of the ball blocks the pathway of the runner, the umpire shall call or signal the runner safe. Notwithstanding the above, it shall not be considered a violation if the catcher blocks the pathway of the runner in a legitimate attempt to field the throw. For example, in reaction to the direction, trajectory, or the hop of an incoming throw, or in reaction to a throw that originates from the pitcher or drawn-in infielder. In addition, a catcher without possession of the ball shall not be adjudged to be in violation if the runner could have avoided the collision with the catcher or other player covering home plate by sliding. Note, a catcher shall not be deemed to have violated the collision rule unless he has both blocked the plate without possession of the ball, or when not in a legitimate attempt to field the throw, and also hindered or impeded the progress of the runner attempting to score. Simply put, the umpire's mindset should be the protection of the runner against illegal acts by the fielder prior to the fielder possessing the ball. Once the fielder possesses the ball, the umpire's mindset should default to the protection of the fielder against illegal acts by the runner. The fielder's initial position should alert the plate umpire that there is a strong possibility of obstruction when the play develops. This positioning in front of the plate straddling the third base foul line is not ideal and can lead to illegal acts. Umpires should use common sense when enforcing this type of obstruction, as the fielder standing there is not an illegal act by itself, but leads to illegal actions. For example, if the fielder is straddling the third base foul line in front of the plate without possession of the ball, and then possesses the ball well before the runner enters the dirt circle, the fielder would not be guilty of obstruction, as the fielder possesses the ball before anything that could be deemed obstruction occurs. As the play develops, the catcher moves from the plate area possessing the ball before contact with the runner. Once the fielder possesses the ball, by rule, the runner can do three things. Number one, give himself up. Number two, run away from contact with the fielder. And number three, slide legally. When the catcher moves from the plate area, he at times doesn't give the runner the ability to slide. This still shot shows the runner is trying to get to the ground, and the catcher moving forward takes away the space needed to slide. The plate umpire should consider this when thinking about penalizing the runner for not sliding legally. The runner possibly doesn't have the time and space needed to slide legally despite trying to do so. A slide shall be deemed appropriate in the case of a feet-first slide if the runner's buttocks and legs should hit the ground before contact with the catcher. In the case of a head-first slide, a runner shall be deemed to have slid appropriately if his body should hit the ground before contact with the catcher. If a catcher blocks the pathway of the runner, the umpire shall not find that the runner initiated an avoidable collision in violation of the collision rule. The runner actually tries to go to the inside of the catcher when the contact occurs in an attempt to reach the plate safely. Unfortunately, the runner's body is propelling forward, his arms extend into the catcher's head and neck area, and a violent collision between the runner's extended arms and the catcher's head result in the catcher dropping the ball. Letter B. A runner attempting to score may not deviate from his direct pathway to the plate in order to initiate contact with the catcher or any other player covering home plate, or otherwise initiate an avoidable collision. If in the judgment of the umpire, a runner attempting to score initiates contact with the catcher or any other player covering home plate, in such a manner the umpire shall declare the runner out, regardless of whether the player covering home plate maintains possession of the ball. In such circumstances, the umpire shall call the ball dead, and all other base runners shall return to the last base touched at the time of the collision. If the runner slides into the plate in an appropriate manner, he shall not be adjudged to be in violation of this rule. At the least, this is a violation of the collision rule. The runner attempting to score is out, and no runners may advance from the base legally occupied at the time of the runner's illegal act. While the argument of what could the runner have done differently is a valid one, the runner cannot propel forward and extend his arms through the head and neck area of the fielder. If the runner went to the inside and tried to absorb some of the contact between he and the catcher, then the umpire would have had more options on how to rule on this play. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and the runner has committed an illegal act by violating the collision rule. Note: the failure by the runner to make an effort to touch the plate, the runner's lowering of the shoulder, or the runner's pushing through with his hands, elbows, or arms would support a determination that the runner deviated from the pathway in order to initiate contact with the catcher in violation of the collision rule, or otherwise initiated a collision that could have been avoided. A decision to eject the runner for malicious contact would also be a valid decision, as the contact was very violent around the head and neck area and very dangerous in regards to the safety of the fielder. I hope this video helps slow these plays down at the plate for umpires. Umpires, remember, true leadership is when preparation meets opportunity.